Hi, welcome back to the channel. We're going on another quest. This time we're going to St Mary's Church in Mundon, which is a medieval church. Let's get Hetty started and head off. Off we go. So here we are at the church. Here we are at St Mary's Church in Mundon. It's medieval, parts of it. As you can see over my shoulder, just let's give me that right there on the gatepost. It says St Peter's Way, which means there's a footpath that goes through the churchyard behind me. And actually, if you follow it, it will take you all the way to St Peter's on the Wall, which is where our first video was. There's Hetty. She got us here fine. Though we went over a big bump and scraped the bottom a bit. Let's go and have a look. Here we go. There we go. Look at that. There's some really old graves here. This one over here. (1889). The outside of the church. Go around. Is the door unlocked? Yes, it is. We'll go in there in a minute. Again, really peaceful space over here. 1864. It's actually someone in Tasmania on here as well. Friends of Friendless churches have restored this and they upkeep it. These are all Powell family. Vicar of this parish, 1928. Old one. It was in use, but it's just the side of the church. The arch makes me wonder what was on that side. Might have been an aisle Try not to walk over too many graves. It is peaceful here, but you can hear them shooting in the background. And cars. And the graves probably extend through there. 1915, 1908. A wooden one. A wooden one over there. You can see it's the east end of the church. There's a yew tree there. You often find these on ancient sacred sites. Another thing I was going to ask about, maybe people can leave an answer in the comments below, but this looks like a vent and they're dotted around. That looks like a vault. So, and it's probably, I'm probably being really thick, but could there be a vault under here? Yeah, so let me show you another vent. If I find one. Can't find one now. There is another one around. But look at that old wooden frame for that window. Look. I mean, obviously the brickwork's quite new, so, well, not new, but yeah. There's another vent. Another one here, look. So, anyone shed some light on what they're for? Leave it in the comments below. My wife said there's lots of hawthorn around this site as well, which apparently has some significance. So, but you often find yew trees on ancient sacred sites. They're normally round the edges. There's the footpath, the other path, look. The other end of the path. And then you've got St Peter's Way, an old coronavirus sign there. Wow. Wow. That is stunning. Absolutely stunning. And just like at St Peter's, on the wall there's a visitor's book which we'll sign. That is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. All the stone. Wow. So then we're going to demolish it. Wow. Look at it. Bells are up there. And you can see the rope. Wow. That's the doorway looking out. It's Hetty parked there. Absolutely beautiful. District Conservation Award. We are in the bell tower in St Mary's in Mundon, and it's just, there's no words to describe it really, it's just incredible. It's very dark, but you can see behind me the door, and if you look, just face tracking, but these beams behind me here, they're the actual beams holding up the whole bell tower, and they're huge, and they're literally sitting on another beam, which I'll capture and show you in a minute, in a sec. There's the bell tower beam, look, it's just sitting on that beam there, and it holds up the entire bell tower. The bells are still up there. There's obviously four. You can see this one's actually twisted, look. It's not in line with the beam at the bottom, like that one is. There. This one's actually twisted. Wow. So this is the bell tower. I'm just gonna take you on a walk just through this. This church is just absolutely magnificent. I'm so pleased that they saved it. If you want to make a donation to the Friends of Friendless churches, we'll put a link in the description below. But I'm just going to take you through a walkthrough and how these churches were laid out. So you come out of the bell tower, the font is there. So churches were laid out to represent heaven and earth. So where the lay people would sit represents the earth. And they put scriptures on the walls, obviously because books weren't around, and so people could read the scriptures from the walls. It just gives you an idea of how colourful this church would have been. And you can see, as we walk up here, the pattern of the tiles on the floor, but you can also see bits of painting on the walls. It would have been really colourful. Really colourful. I mean, if I get anything wrong, obviously correct me, but I mean, that is amazing. So, the screen here separates heaven and earth. And so the choir, where the choir would sit, would represent the angels before the throne of God, which is the main altar, always at the east end. Again, just the 10 Commandments on the wall. Jesus saying at the Last Supper, "This do in remembrance of me." And to have a grave here, I assume this is a grave, at the right hand of the altar would have been someone special to the church, this church in particular. But look at the painting. Look at that. gives you an idea how colourful it would have been. You see more of it around here, look. Absolutely amazing. And there would have been scripture up there as well. Absolutely stunning. The churches we think of sombre places, sterile, but they weren't. There's more around that window there, like sky blue colour. And the remnants of, I think it's a psalm there. And the border would have continued. Same on that side. You can see bits of blue, sky blue in the window just there. What an amazing find. It's so quiet, apart from me rambling on. Feel free to correct anything I've got wrong in the comments. I'm sure I have. But look, you can see sky blue. So the walls would have originally been sky blue. And this is the main entrance. But it's locked up, so you have to go in through the bell tower. Fitting that scripture should be as you walk out. And the Lord thy God, thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, I am the Lord thy God, which teaches thee to profit, which leadeth thee by the way in which thou should go. Very fitting, but that's as you go out the door. Look at that. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. The altar. Down here there's 1821. You can see the old painting. There was a scripture up there. The wooden mouldings. Oh, absolutely stunning. The walls would have been brightly painted, proper medieval. is this? Look, tiny organ. What an amazing thing. Anglo-American organ. Even that in itself is beautiful. I'm going to go and stand up here where the vicar would stand. Bench seat. What a beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful. Outside is, look. Absolutely beautiful place. That's it for this video. Please like and subscribe. We're going to put 10 of the best pictures on Instagram once we've set our Instagram page up. And obviously donate to the Friends of Friendless churches, because they do a wonderful job, as you've seen from inside. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one.